Gentlemen, gamers, grifters, and gooners, I have a question for you. Have you ever wanted your own hot, sexy babe, available at your beck and call, ready to be controlled by you in whatever way you choose to control her? Have you ever wanted to put her in a variety of dozens and dozens of different skimpy, sexy, and attractive outfits? She's always willing to put them on for you whenever you want her to. She'll wear the hairstyle of your choosing, the color of hair that you want her to have, earrings, all sorts of different options, all of which she leaves solely up to you. You tell her what to do. You tell her where to go. She'll even wear outfits not even approved by her creator if you're willing to go out of bounds to get them. She'll walk for you. She'll run for you. She'll jump when you tell her to jump. She'll jump twice in the air, once while still in the air, if you tell her to do it. She'll even dance for you, even get completely naked for you. Is this something you've ever thought that you wanted, my friends? Well, I have just such a woman. But enough about my wife. We're here to talk about Eve and Stellar Blade. I'm Fox with RealMarcFoxx, your vanguard of the gaming, grifting, and gooning brigade, and this is an absurdly, ridiculously stupid review of Stellar Blade. While I have played Stellar Blade on the PlayStation 5 when it first came out, I actually finished it 3 entire times, don't ask why. I'll be playing this time on the PC, so all the footage you're seeing is recorded on my IBM-compatible home personal computer.
The war against PC gaming has begun. You and all of your so-called PC gaming master race will be torn limb from limb.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man. I apologize for that interruption, but do not worry, all of you at the G3 Brigade, gamers, grifters, and gooners. I will protect you from the console gamer demon. I will not allow him to storm the gates because I am the vanguard, and what does a vanguard do? A vanguard stands at the front. They are the first to engage the enemy. And I will stand at the gates to ensure that the big red console gamer demon does not intrude upon our PC gaming space. Of that, I assure you. Let's continue on with this absurdly stupid review of Stellar Blade. If you want to know what I'm running this on, I'm going to give you a bunch of information that if you're not a PC gamer, doesn't mean anything to you and sounds like gobbledygook, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm running this on an AMD Ryzen 7 9800X3D undervolted, an NVIDIA RTX-4080 Super, also undervolted, 32 gigabytes of double D's 5 RAM, a high quality but not best of the best M.2 NVMe SSD, 4 terabytes of storage because I need games, lots of games, an endless supply of games. Even 4 terabytes cannot contain the number of games that I need in my life. I'm also running a Sound Blaster Z SE sound card. Why did I bother getting a sound card? Because I can't get the audio working on the motherboard I bought, and I'm not going to exchange the motherboard for another one after installing all the hardware in there, because that would require taking the motherboard out, which means disconnecting pretty much everything, and that's a lot of work. As much fun as I have building PCs, I don't want to on-build them and then rebuild them because something doesn't work. I played this primarily using the Razer Wolverine V3 Pro wireless controller, my favorite controller, overpriced at $200, but I regret nothing. Although I did experiment playing with mouse and keyboard, and I actually very much enjoyed that experience. Although, honestly, It is simply better on a controller, in my opinion. Some of you die-hard PC enthusiasts may be offended to hear that I sometimes prefer using a controller, particularly for third-person action games and Souls-likes. While Stellar Blade is not entirely a Souls-like, it's similar. That's why I call it a Souls-similar. Enough about hardware. Let's talk about software. Stellar Blade and Eve, because Eve makes my software hardware.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
When Stellar Blade was first announced and I saw that initial footage, I actually got pretty excited and hyped for the game, which those of you who know me know is pretty rare. I tend to be quite the cynical, sarcastic bastard when it comes to new games coming out, and I'm always looking for ways that developers and publishers will ruin an otherwise good-looking game. And that's turned out to be the case far more often than it should have. Developers and publishers announce a game, make it look really good, and then do all sorts of stupid things to make it not so good or even bad. Seeing Eve for the first time and the variety of outfits they showed was quite the surprise. Not too surprising that it's not coming out of the West, it's a Korean-developed game, but I was still surprised that anyone is willing in this modern era of woke DEI ESG bullshit to create an attractive, feminine female character, and not only that, to put her in a variety of outfits, some of which cover less than other outfits, some of which cover very little. There are even bikinis included in the base game, something I did not expect. What do you get to see in this game? You get to see a good portion of Eve's ass. Her boobs, not the entire boobs, cleavage, side boob, under boob, top boob, but not the very middle of the boob, because the nipple is a step too far. If you want to see that, you gotta go out of bounds and grab it off a modding website. This is not, after all, one of those kinds of games. It just skirts the line, especially with some of the more recent outfits, which put her in bikinis that cover very, very little. As all of you know, Eve is based on a real model, a Korean model, whose name I don't know how to pronounce. Yes, I was married to a Korean woman for quite a while, but I don't speak Korean, so I'm not going to try to pronounce it. But you can see her, she's quite attractive. Any man would be very fortunate to have a woman like her. However, I'm fortunate to have a woman like my wife, which I described earlier, who looks far better than this woman ever could, and I highly doubt those breasts are real. Maybe, but probably not.
That's racist!
And speaking of fake breasts, Eve's breasts are also fake in the sense that Eve is fake. She's not a real woman.
How dare you!
They didn't use the model's face because using someone's face is a whole different ballgame from using just their body scanned. Using their face involves lots of copyright and representation issues, and a lot of developers want to avoid all that nonsense. If you want to use someone's face, their actual likeness, where they could be recognized in the game, and of course that requires their face. Most people aren't gonna look at Eve's ass and go, I know that ass, I would recognize that ass anywhere. Maybe you did, I didn't. But in the case of using someone's face, well, that's something totally different. Most games that use motion capture with actual actors or individuals don't use their real faces because they don't want their real likenesses in the game and everything that comes with it. Stellar Blade is ultimately a character action game that has some Souls-like elements, but I wouldn't call it a Souls-like. Many people did call it a Souls-like initially, but the more you play it, the more you realize it is its own thing and probably closer to some of those character action games that you're familiar with. Originally released on the PlayStation 5, it has come to the great world of PC gaming. So if you own a halfway decent IBM-compatible home personal computer, you can install this on your IBM-compatible home personal computer and play it for yourself. No PlayStation 5 required. While it ran mostly fine on the PlayStation 5 in performance mode, the best way to play any game that requires precise input and timing, I gotta tell you, it runs so much better on my IBM compatible home personal computer. Now, I do have a fairly powerful one, not the most powerful, but far above most budget builds that most people are probably going to play it on. But you should get adequate performance out of this thing. When I'm running this game with no DLSS, no FSR, no fake frames, no AI frames, none of that nonsense, I'm getting frames out the ass. I'm getting frames 100, 200 plus sometimes.
Yes! That's awesome!
And really, that's more frames than any of us actually need. We just want them. We want more frames, and we want as many frames as we can get.
That's true.
Am I willing to sometimes turn down graphical options to increase the frame rate? You bet your ass I am. Absolutely. Will I go all the way down to low just to boost the frame rate even higher? No, that's a step too far for me. I try to get a good balance, and in most cases, as long as the game is well optimized, I can play at max or near max settings and get 100 plus frames per second most of the time. Depends on what's happening in the game. If I'm zooming in on her in photo mode, no problem. But if I'm just jumping around, fighting enemies, lots of explosions as I'm trying to see her ass through all the smoke and debris, well, then it can drop a little bit, but I never found it to drop significantly. This game, again, reminds me of my relationship with my wife. It's very well optimized, works really well, and I'm totally satisfied with it.
I didn't come here for your compliments.
I mean my current wife, not referring to my ex-wife, previous marriage. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with my ex-wife. What I'm saying is it's the current relationship. Just the ex-wife and I, ultimately we didn't click, you know what I mean? I don't see divorce as a fail state. I see it as an opportunity to try again. Just like if you die in Stellar Blade, you will get the opportunity to try again. There's even an item that lets you try again from the moment of death, even possibly twice, if you know what you're doing. And I know what I'm doing. Just ask my wife.
Warning. Warning.
Now, before we get too far in this ridiculously stupid review of Stellar Blade, I do have to give you something that, unfortunately, I am bound contractually to provide you, and that is trigger warnings. So, let's go over them. There are quite a few. If you decide to skip this section, I don't blame you, but I recommend you stick around. Let's begin. Trigger warnings for Stellar Blade include, but are not limited to, flashing lights, hot babes, skimpy outfits, bottoms, tops, ridiculously skimpy unofficial mod outfits, you'll see those in this footage, superior PC gaming frame rate, and visuals which may or may not offend console fanboys, extreme gooning, hot babes dying, hot babes living, violence and gore, your mom, your dad, a complete lack of LGBTQIAP++ representation, biological men being men, biological women being women, human-android hybrid babes, AI, I know many of you hate that, naked statues, a mermaid statue with exposed breasts and nipples, soda cans, alcohol, usually in cans, double jumping, walking, biblical names and themes.
It's called Zion, humanity's last city.
Zionism, but not really, but maybe. A complete absence of any sex scenes whatsoever. Human-cyborg relationships, but no sex scenes. People without faces. Big scary mutant beasts. Korean singing. Russian letters suggesting a possible allegiance to Putin, who we all know interfered in the 2016 US presidential election and helped Trump start World War III with North Korea. Collaborations with other games that have harmful representations of women as feminine and attractive. And nobody wants that. Dead people, blood, dismemberment. Dead cats. Catchy music that you kinda like, but not totally, and then get kind of frustrated that it gets stuck in your head because you feel like you shouldn't like it. drone gun shooting, puzzles, mathematical equations, side quests, main quests.
Do I have to go through another test?
Yes. There cannot be.
Then let's not waste any time.
Linear areas, open world areas, your ex-wife. People who could be white and therefore offensive and oppressive for their presence. Enemies called Natiba, which could be a veiled dog whistle reference to conquering native populations. No gay sex scenes whatsoever. Machines. Computers, but no game consoles, which also may offend console fanboys. No Nintendo Switch or Xbox versions. A female protagonist with skimpy clothing designed by someone who has clearly never seen a woman, specifically by the director's hot Korean wife. Here's a picture of her. A review by a guy who used to be married to a Korean woman before getting divorced and then marrying a hot babe who's a far better match for him. I don't know why I included that, guys. Swimsuits, thongs, exposed cleavage, unexposed cleavage, possible nipple bumps under the clothing, deserts, oases, water, swimming, fish, sharks, furries. I'm just kidding. That's disgusting and degenerate. Don't be a furry. Swords, spider-like creatures, robot massacres. Genetic manipulation, vending machines, corded public phones.
Hi there, and welcome to Phone Babes Unlimited. Before we connect you to your sensual seductress, remember that the first minute is $9.99, and each additional minute is $2.99. Please stay on the line so we can connect you to one of our sexy, sultry sirens. Are your pants unzipped? Good. Now imagine my hands moving up your legs, closer and closer to your cock.
Nabe cooking. Yellow paint to signify where you can climb, therefore implying that you're stupid. Ropes, which could be a veiled and racist allegory to the horrible practice of hanging people. Themes of hopelessness and despair. Long ponytails, short ponytails, no ponytails. And horrible, despicable, unthinkable, deeply disturbing representations of racial stereotypes. Because, as you can clearly see, they're obviously mocking Irish people, and that I will not stand for. I do not tolerate such anti-whiteism. I give this game a DEI score of 0 out of 10, and that's the best possible score, guys. Congratulations, Shift Up. You've earned the RealMarcFoxx highest DEI score ever given to a game, a 0 out of 10. Good job. When you first start the game, you get to choose between story mode and normal mode. Let me just give you a warning though. Story mode really isn't all that easy. I mean, it's not super hard, but you can die and very easily. And normal mode is basically like hard mode. So look at these as normal and hard. And you know what else is hard? My dick while I'm playing this game. It begins with an unskippable cutscene. You can apparently skip the cutscene part of the way through in New Game Plus and beyond, but if you're playing New Game, you're gonna have to watch this. And as everyone knows here at RealMarcFoxx, one of the biggest sins a game developer can ever commit in their game development career is including the bane of my existence, something I passionately hate, something I wish didn't exist, something I wish I could banish from the Earth, from not just the Earth, from the solar system, from the whole universe itself.
Unskippable cutscenes.
Shift Up, you done fucked up on this one. Make all cutscenes skippable, from New Game and beyond. But enough bitching. What you see are spaceships, which appear to be attacking Earth, or at least attacking something down on Earth. They're also releasing pods, sending them down to the Earth below. Who's controlling the spaceships? We don't know. What's on the Earth below attacking them? We don't know. And guess what? We don't need to know. It doesn't matter. We're pretty sure we're gonna find out later. The story, while not the best thing in the world, isn't bad at all. Some people have criticized the story for being bad, but they're also the same people who criticize the game for having a hot, attractive female character. So ignore their opinions, they don't matter.
Fuck them.
So if you see anyone bitching about Eve and Stellar Blade being, quote, over-sexualized, unquote, or the game in its representation of women, you know what you should do? Tell them to shut the fuck up. And you know what you should do after that? Sit down and enjoy a game with a hot babe. I enjoyed this game with a hot babe, my wife, because she would often sit in the computer room with me, working on stuff for her job, which I'm like, why are you doing that? You're at home. I don't do any work for work while I'm at home. I do stuff for me when I'm at home. But she's different than me. She works a lot. Too much, in fact. I try to get her to work less. But alas, it just hasn't happened. I'm trying to work less, actually. Have you considered donating to my Patreon? Or joining the channel as a member? Or making a one-time donation? If I make enough money doing this, then maybe I can take some unpaid days off from work and make more content just like this, just for you. You make this possible. I don't make this possible. I mean, I make the content, but in order for me to make the content, I need more time. And time is money, your money. But if you don't have money, that's fine. I don't know how you're eating, but that's fine. If you don't have money, just like the video, leave a comment, because that means everything to the YouTube algorithm. And to me, because I read them all. Thank you, and please consider giving me money, because money makes the world go round. And right here is the world, what we are trying to save, specifically Eve. If at any point you feel like this recording sounds a little different, like I've been recording it at different times or in different environments, that's because I'm constantly having to stop recording this as I watch the Stellar Blade footage and pull out a box of tissues and use them for what we all know tissues are used for. To blow my nose, because I'm still sick. I've had this cough, this phlegm, this sinus issue for what's going on 3 weeks, and I just can't seem to get rid of it. But I push through as I hack up a lung, and don't worry about me. I'll be fine, because I have 2 lungs, so I can afford to hack one of them up. I've still got a spare. Back to Stellar Blade. After what I would consider to be a fairly lengthy, unskippable cutscene, you find yourself in one of the pods sent down to the planet. You've been sent there, obviously to fight, and as you try to escape your pod, you realize something's wrong. It's jammed. You're unable to free yourself. But don't worry. There's a large-breasted, beautiful Asian-like woman who opens the door for you and pulls you out. And this is where you get introduced to the true Stellar Blade, Eve. The slow motion reveal of her body as she's yanked from the pod, and slowly as the nanosuit encompasses her body from one side to the other, materializing like magic. You see the true magic of Stellar Blade, Eve. Oh yeah, Eve. And tacky. Many people actually say that they wish they could play the game as tacky because they consider tacky to be superior to Eve. And you know what I say to that? I think that is an absolutely valid thing to say. Actually, Tacky's an incredibly beautiful but fake woman as well. And you know what? You can play the entire game as Tacky if you want to. If you're willing to step out of bounds, go to some of those mod websites, download the mods, and install them on your IBM-compatible home personal computer. Because when you're a PC gamer, you are not bound to the walled garden of Sony, or Microsoft, or Nintendo. You can do what you want to do. You can even, dare I say it, sail the 7 seas. But we all know you don't do that. I don't do that. I'm playing Stellar Blade legitimately. I don't even know if it's available to find on the 7 seas. I'm sure it probably is. I haven't checked. I don't need to, because I paid for my copy of Stellar Blade. I pay to see these hot chicks This is your introduction to the combat in the gameplay of Stellar Blade. You progress through a linear area initially. This is not an area you can ever return to. Later, a cutscene will whisk you away to another area, and this beginning initial area will be gone forever. So enjoy it while it lasts. It's quite the spectacle. It doesn't last too long, and it's not too egregious as a tutorial. Tacky will help you along, even give you your refillable, restockable healing item, making you believe that maybe this is a Souls-like. And you know what? It has some Souls-like elements, but it's not a Souls-like. So stop saying that, okay? Stop it. I see you over there posting those tweets on X, formerly known as Twitter, referring to it as a Souls-like. I will find you, and I will be your reply guy, telling you it's not a Souls-like. And I will ratio you into oblivion with my 3 to 7 likes. Trust me, you don't want to get caught up in that. And if you would like to be one of those small handful of people who regularly puts likes on my posts on X, then you should follow me on X if you're not already. I can be found at RealMarcFoxx. You can see it on the screen. Mark spelled with a C, Fox with 2 X's. Not 3 X's, because this is not that kind of game. It's close, and it can be that kind of game with mods, but I don't use those kinds of mods. Except for the naked mod, but that was just to show you that there was a naked mod. I don't actually use the naked mod. What? I mean, I'm about ready to give up my Gooner card here, okay, guys? I'm sorry, but I don't really want to see her completely naked as I'm playing the game. Just really, really close. There is honestly something to be said about always leaving that little last bit to the imagination, guys. And why do I always say guys? And not guys and girls, gentlemen and ladies. I say just gentlemen. And that's because according to YouTube statistics, 98.1% of you are male. And 1.9% of you lied and said you're female. But I know you're male. Because 100% of my viewers are male. But if there are, by some slim chance, by some the most remotest possibility in the universe, there are actually some women here, then let me say this. Welcome, ladies. Welcome to the gaming, grifting, and gooning brigade. Because in this brigade, we don't discriminate on the basis of sex, only on the basis of sexiness. Women are fully allowed to join and fight in the brigade, to fight the wokies, to fight the DEI people, the ESG out there. Women are welcome. It's just unfortunate that none of them happen to be here. At the end of this introductory segment, you find yourself tasked with trying to defeat a boss. And apparently, the boss is your mom. It should come as no surprise to anyone, but very, very minor, very early spoiler warning, Tacky is killed. That's right, Tacky, the person you just met, the incredibly attractive, sexy woman you just met and have been fighting alongside, is killed off in the very first area of the game. And that sets the tone that this is not going to be easy. It's going to be very, very hard, just like your dick. And at this point, you are whisked away to the true beginning of the game, 807, an essentially linear area, although you can explore quite a bit of it. Some areas are optional, and there are quite a lot of hidden things. You see, one of the experiences you'll have with Stellar Blade is that the more you explore, the more you find. I managed, on my 5th playthrough of the game, having played through it 3 times on the PlayStation 5 and 3 times on the PC, it was only on my 5th playthrough that I discovered a tiny little side area here that I'd completely missed in all my previous playthroughs. I just didn't notice it, even though it seems pretty obvious now. Most of you will probably find it, but for some reason, each and every time I played through it, I would continue to miss it because I missed it the first time, and my eyes just didn't want to see what I didn't think was there. That and the fact that my eyes were mainly looking at Eve's ass. I missed a treasure chest? What treasure chest? Didn't see it. Now, if you think this is one of those so-called reviews where I'm going to do a point-by-point of the game from beginning to end, well, you're wrong there, bucko. I'm not. You see, Stellar Blade is the kind of game you should experience for yourself. And also, that would take a lot more work, and I'm trying to be lazier with the videos I create. My goal is to spend as little time as possible making this video and make as much money as I can. And I'm really failing on both fronts, because it's taking me forever to make these videos, and I'm not making much money off of them. But anyway, from here, you continue onward, and eventually you'll discover that there are several open areas of the game. 2 in particular are giant and essentially open world areas of the game that allow you to explore quite freely. They're massive. There's tons of stuff to find. Most of it, pretty much almost all of it, is optional. Because if you wanted to, you could just go straight to the next linear area and progress the story and skip essentially everything in the open world areas. Should you do that? No. Could you do that? Yes. Would you maybe do that on subsequent playthroughs if you're just trying to get to the multiple endings to get the achievements, the platinum, the 100% on Steam? Yes. And that's what I did. You see, my second time through, I did explore some of the open world areas. But my third time through, I said, fuck it. I'm going straight for the story because all I want to do is get the 100% achievement. Because I've already platinumed this game on the PlayStation 5. So the last thing I want to do now is play through all of this content all over again on my 6th playthrough. It's a great game, guys. Don't get me wrong. But playing it 6 times in the span of essentially a year, that's pushing it. And since this is not a point-by-point of everything that happens along the way in Stellar Blade, let's get to the one thing that sets video games apart from all other mediums. And that is gameplay. You know, that thing that many modern developers forget to include in their games nowadays? You may have heard some losers on social media complain that all they see about Stellar Blade are pics and videos of her T and A. And you know what? I also see the pics and videos of T and A, tactics and assault, because there's a ton of gameplay here in Stellar Blade, more than in most games of this style. There's a lot to do, a lot to keep track of, and all of it is useful in one way or another. But you don't have to memorize it all, because you can do what I did. Just memorize a few combos, a few tactics that work, and stick to it. Find what you like and play your way. Have it your way. Burger King. This video is not affiliated or sponsored with Burger King. And exactly how much is there? Well, I'm going to go over some of it for you, and you may be surprised. It starts with your 2 basic attacks. If you're using the gamepad, that's X and Y. X is essentially like a light, faster attack, and Y is a harder, slower attack. You can combine these together in different combinations to make different combo moves, some of which will actually use some of one of your energy meters, known as your beta gauge. But don't worry, guys, it's okay to have beta energy in Stellar Blade, because Eve is a woman, and women can be beta. Men should never be beta. Don't be beta, guys. Don't be a soy boy beta cuck. So the very bare essentials of combat involve X and Y. Perhaps XXYX, or YXXYXY, or YYXXYXY. I'm just making up letters now. I'm stringing those together in random combos. Don't try those exact ones, but you'll play around with them and figure out which ones work best for you, and some of which will do more damage than others. Maximizing your combos is the way to go in this game, and that's what sets Stellar Blade apart from Souls-likes. Souls-likes will roll some attacks into others, but they don't really have combos, generally speaking. But if you're a mouse and keyboard kind of gamer, then what you're talking about here is the left and right mouse click. So you'll be doing left, 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 right, left, or left, left, right, or some combination of that on your beautiful little PC gaming rat. That's right. I loved using the Rat 7 when it was my primary mouse, but it's not anymore. Instead, I now use this weird abomination, which, believe it or not, I really like. My wife bought it for me as a gift, and I do enjoy it. Although my middle finger hangs off the right mouse button, that's fine by me. It literally has keyboard keys for mouse buttons. You may think it's weird. I think it's awesome. Beyond your basic attacks, you have dodging. Every good game like this needs a good dodge, and you've got it here. You can dodge out of the way of an attack simply not being within range. You can also perform what's known as a perfect dodge at set points in time. It'll even flash a color for you to dodge the enemy's attack if the attack cannot be guarded against. And yes, you can also guard and do what's equivalent to a parry and a perfect parry. I was very frustrated initially trying to dodge and do the guards and perfect parries, finding that whenever I'd hit the button as soon as I saw the light gleam on the screen, the timing would be wrong. And I'd get hit over and over and over again, and I got so frustrated until I finally realized that I should have paid attention to the tutorial. Because you don't respond when the enemy flashes the color, you respond when your sword responds to the flash with its own flash of color. Yes, that sounds a little bit confusing. It's not. If you pay attention to the tutorial, something I typically don't do because I think I know everything, then you'll do better than I did. So pay attention to the tutorial, and you're able to go into the menu and practice on enemies inside the menu anytime of your choosing. And as we discussed, there's a guard option. You can hold your guard to reduce damage, but you still take damage. So really, the ultimate thing here is to tap the guard button at just the right time to achieve what is essentially a parry. And if you tap it perfectly, then you get a perfect parry, taking no damage and hearing that amazing, super satisfying, perfect parry sound. In addition, if you happen to get knocked down, hitting the dodge button very quickly upon hitting the ground will get you up off the ground much faster than if you just sit there and wait. Trust me, you don't want to just sit there and wait. Hit that dash or dodge button. It'll help you out a lot. So guys, if Eve ever gets knocked on the ground, don't let her just lay there on the ground. Get her cute little ass up off the ground and hit the dodge button. But the game isn't just about combat. It's about exploration. It's about getting out there in the great outdoors and exploring. And while it is mostly a wasteland, one giant area is literally called the Wasteland, there's still some cool stuff to find. Some of it is for quests. Other stuff is just basically lore. And then some of them will net you rewards if you collect them all. And yes, of course, they had to put in a fishing minigame. Let me tell you something about this fishing minigame. Number one, I hate fishing minigames in games. I always have, and I'm pretty sure I always will. But I did it in this game, and you know why I did it? Because it was necessary to get one of the best outfits in the game, the Ocean Maid. So if you don't like fishing, you're like me, you can't stand fishing and fishing minigames and games, well, just go into the accessibilities options. And in there, you can set the fishing game to easy, so you don't have to mash buttons and balance the fishing setup on the little radio menu. It gets so much easier. Just go in there, turn on that accessibility. Fishing's easier, still a hassle, still takes a lot of time. You're still subject to RNG, that random number generator. You don't know when you're going to get the fish you're looking for, but get online, look up a guide, get all the fish, get the Ocean Maid outfit, and run around in sexy style, guys. I mean, on Eve, not you. You shouldn't wear it. There are also cans to collect, either soda cans, cans of tea, alcohol cans. If you collect every can in the game, and some of them are fairly well hidden, then you get some amazing rewards. As you collect more and more cans, you'll get more and more rewards, but when you max out on the cans, get every single one of them, you get one of the best default outfits in the game, the Black Pearl. And this is some amazing looking black lingerie. When I first got it, I pretty much finished the game almost exclusively wearing the Black Pearl. Are there side quests? Yes, absolutely. There are lots of side quests. You get side quests from talking to people. You can get side quests from discovering things in the world. You can even get side quests from what is essentially a quest board or a message board. Are they all interesting? Well, no. One of the quests involves trying to find someone's missing cat. But I'm sorry to tell you, your cat's dead. Another quest is to find a missing husband. And yet, once again, sorry to tell you, your husband's dead. Yes, there's a theme here. If anything or anyone is missing, it's dead, or he's dead, or she's dead. They're all dead, okay? This is basically post-apocalyptic. Not necessarily nuclear, but there are these things called Natiba that have taken over. What are the Natiba? I don't really know. Nobody really knows. It's never explained. I'm kidding, guys. They do explain what the Natiba is, but for quite a while, you're not going to know. And the twist is finding out exactly what they are and what they mean for you and me and Eve and everyone. Now, a question may arise at some point during your playthrough as you discover more and more, and this isn't necessarily a big spoiler, but it could be a little spoiler. What if some of these Naytiba used to be humans? And what if they could be restored in their humanity? How should we approach them then? Surely, if we destroy them all, we're destroying humanity. What if killing a Naytiba was killing a human being that's just been mutated or horribly disfigured and turned into an abomination? What if they could be restored to their human state, if any of this is part of the story? Well, in the words of Mylene Farmer, here's my approach to it. And now, what about Mother Sphere, the ultimate AI? What should our approach be to Mother Sphere? Well, many people have differing opinions on AI, and in the case of the world of Stellar Blade, there is an ultimate super AI called Mother Sphere. How should we approach this whole situation? What should our thoughts be towards Mother Sphere? Well, I'm going to let it be stated by the famous philosopher who goes by the pseudonym Robots with Ray Guns.
Fuck the system. Fuck the system.
I should tell you at this point that I did a 100% run of Stellar Blade. Does that mean I simply got 100% achievements? No, I went way beyond that. I collected every single item there was to collect in the game. I got every single memory stick, document, passcode, found every character, found every Naytiba, fought every Naytiba, fought every boss Naytiba. I collected every fish. I got all of the miscellaneous items. I got everything there was to get. All the logs, the journals, the messages, the announcements, the series, the books, the informations, or information bits, promotions, prayers. I found and got everything in the game. All the collectibles, all the outfits, because, like I said, I went through this game multiple times to do that. And you have to go through it multiple times. Just because you found an outfit once doesn't mean you have all the outfits. You go through again and find the same outfit, you've got an alternate color. And alternate colors are cool. But you know what would be even cooler than an alternate color to the same outfit you already have? A different outfit. But can we really complain that they didn't put more outfits in the game when the game has around, 100 outfits already? Nearly all of which are free. The only ones you have to pay for are the Nier Automata DLC, and I think the Nikkei crossover DLC, which that DLC actually includes some new game modes. You get a Nikkei Goddess of Victory-like shooting segment with Eve in it. It's actually pretty cool. I did them all. I did everything there is to do in this game. So trust me when I tell you, I know what I'm talking about. So what kind of experiences will you have in the world of Stellar Blade? Well, there's the most obvious one. You're going to fight. You're going to fight a lot. You're going to fight a lot of really tough enemies. You're going to fight some easier ones. You're going to fight some tough bosses. You're going to have mini bosses. You're going to have really tough bosses. And if you're on normal mode, or dare I say, if you go into hard mode, which they added as an option in a new game in a recent patch, well, let me tell you something, my friend. Get ready to get frustrated. Get ready to throw your controller at the wall. Get ready to break your mouse and keyboard. But I don't have to tell you you're going to do a lot of fighting, and I don't have to tell you that the fighting will be difficult. That is how Stellar Blade gets confused for being a Souls-like. Just having a difficult boss and difficult enemies doesn't make for a Souls-like, but it does confuse people into thinking it's a Souls-like. What other experiences will you have? A whole bunch, and we're going to go over a whole bunch in no particular order, and it doesn't even matter if they're important or not. I'm just going to mention some random stuff and hopefully have some video game footage of it to show you. If not, I'll just put some random footage behind it, so there's something for you to look at. But if you're driving and not actually watching this video, which I hope if you're driving, you're not simultaneously watching, then you can just listen, because my videos are very listenable, although ultimately you'll want to see what's on the screen if you can. So, even if you are driving, maybe, if you think you can do it, set it up there on the dashboard and glance down at it every now. Don't say I told you to do that, because I didn't. I'm just saying that's a thing some people do. I didn't tell you to do it. Alright, here we go. What do you do in Stellar Blade? Well, you find a dead cat, but we talked about that already. You'll fight a giant bird. You'll skate through tunnels. You'll be sent reeling through space in really sexy black lingerie. You'll navigate menus. And then you'll navigate more menus. You'll run around in a thong and occasionally get hit by missiles. You'll put on an endless stream of different outfits, trying your best to find the outfit that shows the most skin. You will twirl Eve around in each one of those outfits, trying to get the best view of her ass, tits, and possibly somewhere else. I'm not going to talk about that. This is a kid's show after all, even though my videos are marked not for children. You'll sit at camps in front of a pot of what looks to be nabe. If you don't know what nabe is, just Google it, N-A-B-E. You'll walk slowly at times. You'll walk faster at times. You'll run at times, and you'll run even faster at times. You'll slow walk Eve at times in different outfits just to get a view of her ass swaying back and forth. You'll watch various cutscenes that highlight some of Eve's best assets from various different angles, and you will enjoy them. You'll watch the cutscenes even if you're normally not a cutscene kind of guy like me. You'll rip, tear, and shred enemies apart in really awesome death sequences. And you'll watch them if for no other reason than to see the different angles of Eve while she does it. You'll spend more time staring at Eve's ass as she moves throughout the world. You'll lay out at the beach in a bikini, except it's not really the beach, it's just an oasis in the middle of a giant desert. You'll travel through advanced underground science fiction settings. You'll interact with lots of NPCs, most of which don't have a face. You'll be surprised when you actually see an NPC who has a face. You'll collect cans and see an oddly out-of-place animation each time you do. You'll admire the destitute, dystopian, yet somehow beautiful world of Stellar Blade. You'll push giant blocks around in a really skimpy micro-thong. You'll pick up body cores and beta cores to expand your health and beta energy. You'll visit a really big capsule hotel. You'll fish and find it quite odd that you can actually catch sharks and whales in tiny little water spaces. You'll go to the Central Records and find out how it is that Eve is able to survive in space without a spacesuit. You'll do mini-games to open treasure chests, and then you'll stare at Eve's ass as she bends over to open the chest. You'll do platforming like jumping, climbing, and swinging on ropes, and then you'll get frustrated when you find that the platforming isn't as accurate as it probably could be. You'll get coins from attacking vending machines, something you may have actually tried in real life, but I warn you, don't try it. Usually doesn't work out well. You'll do a short stint as a construction worker. You'll battle against disturbingly deformed horses. You'll dance like a whore. You'll be thrown into the void of outer space, wearing nothing but your wedding day lingerie. You'll fight bosses to Latin opera singing. You'll talk to tiny robots whose only human capacity is to show you a tiny emoji face on a screen. You'll discover a hot little cutie who may or may not be underage. Conversations with irrelevant, unimportant NPCs. You'll get rained on and not know it's rain because you've never been to Earth before and never experienced rain. You'll sometimes catch fish while fishing but not see the fish because the fishing bugged out. You'll jump on ladders from the wrong side and then flip around to the correct side so that you can go straight up them. You'll go up and down the ladder just to stare at Eve's ass some more. You'll eventually leave the game idle long enough to realize that Eve will stare directly at the camera and therefore directly into your soul. You might glitch out and have a seizure, but probably not. This doesn't happen that often. You'll get OCD like me and feel the need to clear out every one of these little orange notification dots. You'll explore crumbling, rundown buildings and think to yourself, Detroit looks like shit. You'll do a quest to find 3 items to unlock the ability to change your hair. Then you'll constantly change your hair, but always end up going back to that one hairstyle that you like best. You'll find lots of secret items while looking like a slut. You'll run around in an outfit that looks like it belongs in Eric Pryd's Call on Me music video. And that reminds me, that's a really good music video. You'll find invisible walls that make you wonder, how did they do it? You'll fight your mom after she was killed in a DUI accident, then resurrected and loaded up with crack cocaine and PCP. You'll do platforming while dodging lasers and then die a bunch of times because you realize, you know what, the platforming kind of sucks sometimes. You'll constantly keep coming back to the woman with a cybernetic appendage who's obviously a lesbian and hitting on Eve, and Eve is taking none of it.
What brings such a cute angel fluttering on by today?
I'd appreciate it if you stopped talking like that.
Wait a minute, didn't I say there was no LGBTQIAP++ representation in this game? I'm sorry guys, apparently I lied. You'll eventually be blocked from entering the main city of Zion by a bunch of people who think they're helping you, but they're really just impeding your progress and preventing you from entering the city that you want to enter. You'll swim in water. You'll dive into water. You'll swim in water while trying to get just the perfect angle to stare at Eve's ass. You will admire Eve's tits, repeatedly, in various different outfits. You'll also wonder how much milk those jugs could contain if they were full. Then you'll go on Nexus mods and realize that people have made multiple different pregnant versions of Eve, Mods that make her pregnant. Come on, guys. What's wrong with you? Who's making these mods? Stop it. Stop it. And then you might wonder, what would her breast milk taste like? I have a question for you guys out there, especially the gooners out there. Have you ever tasted breast milk? No, not from a bottle. I mean, directly from the source. I have. Don't ask questions. I won't answer them. Moving on. You'll wonder why there are tons of vending machines loaded up with drinks, but you can't buy any of the drinks in any of the vending machines. You'll dump endless rounds of ammunition into a giant ball of various human body parts in an expression of your Second Amendment rights to keep and bear arms. You'll finish the game, then you'll wonder why you can't skip the credits, but you can make them fly by at super speed. You'll collect more body cores while wearing that same super skimpy micro thong that you found on Nexus Mods. You'll jump and dash through the air in a super skimpy micro thong and think to yourself, damn, I've never wanted to have sex with a fictional video game character before. You'll swim in filthy industrial water and Eve will say that she wants to take a shower and all you can think is you want to watch her take that shower. You'll realize that the mouse and keyboard controls are actually really awesome because you can interact with all the mini games and everything else using the mouse cursor. That's cool. You'll enter lots and lots of passwords using strange alien hieroglyphics. I'm just kidding, guys, they're Greek letters. And then you'll wonder why they make you enter it, because if you forgot the password, all you have to do is just hit the hint button and it just shows you the password. And then you'll wonder why it shows you the password briefly and then it fades away, because you can just hit the button again to see it again, so why does it fade away? You'll enter that password using the Greek alphabet, and then you'll see Eve bend over to open the treasure chest and you'll think to yourself,
oh yeah, baby!
You'll do unpaid sanitation work in order to solve puzzles. You'll wonder what the food in the nabe pot would taste like if you could taste it, and then you'll wonder why other characters just like Eve would put the nabe pot there, because they don't actually eat regular food, because they're kind of like a human-android combination, and so they don't have a need for regular food, so why would they be cooking food at camps designed for them? And then you realize you're just thinking too much. Who cares? You'll quickly realize which cinematics give you the best view of Eve's ass, and then you'll go back through them in different outfits to get a different view of Eve's ass. You'll get the Nier Automata DLC, and then you'll collect all the Stellar Tears just so you can get the Nier DLC outfits, and then you'll blow off her skirt so that you can see her run around in a thong leotard. You'll do the Nikke Goddess of Victory DLC shooting segments and realize that Eve's ass shakes a lot as she shoots, so you'll do them over again in different outfits to see how her ass shakes in different outfits. You'll interact with a robot dog while using a mod that makes Eve's ass just way too big and think to yourself, that's too big, I want it to be normal again. You'll think it's really cool that the teleport and warp points are essentially payphones and they're actually corded phones, but then you get frustrated that only some of the supply camps actually have these warp phones available. You'll wonder why some very short falls that look entirely survivable will actually kill you outright. You'll enjoy otherwise boring cinematics full of boring dialogue because of the way the developers emphasize Eve's assets. And eventually you'll realize that even Eve's assets can't keep you interested in this boring-ass dialogue. And notice the pun I did there? That's boring. Never mind. You'll admire this cutscene and notice the juxtaposition of Adam saying, wow, what a view, as the cutscene itself emphasizes Eve's ass and think to yourself, yes indeed, that is quite a view. You'll start to feel like some of the parry timings are just way too tight and too difficult, and then you'll think, maybe I'll go to Nexus Mods and download that mod that modifies the parry timings to make them easier, but then you'll wonder, does that make me a chump? You'll eventually beat the behemoth boss in a perfect fight, taking no damage whatsoever, and think to yourself, wow, Eve's ass looks nice. You'll explore completely optional areas of the game world and find there are statues of naked people. The physics may sometimes glitch out and a chair will get stuck to Eve's ass and all you can think is, man, I wish I were that chair. You will occasionally be required to do delicate platforming, but you'll sometimes fall because you're too busy staring at Eve. You'll find yourself in the Prestige Lounge and think to yourself, wow, this looks like something out of Ghost in the Shell. And then you'll remember that the Ghost in the Shell chick had a really nice ass too. You'll push more blocks while staring at Eve's ass cheeks. You'll do more unpaid sanitation work and think to yourself, you know what, we need a union. You'll swing across ropes and think to yourself, man, these animations are fucking amazing. You'll fight the Royal Guard and think to yourself, man, that's the most fucking ridiculous outfit I've ever seen, and I love it. You'll watch Eve get sliced into little pieces and wonder to yourself, who put these fucking saw blades here? What purpose did they serve? You'll talk to Scarlet and think to yourself, everything she says and does is somehow sexual even though it's not. You'll love the music but feel like it's kind of girly music and feel kind of embarrassed for liking it. You'll wonder how in the hell your mod managed to bug out and suddenly make Eve topless even though you didn't install a topless mod. Really guys, I'm serious, I did not install a topless or nude mod. This was supposed to be Eve covered. You'll watch a few cutscenes and think to yourself, damn, that's one fine-ass woman. You'll find a few textures and think to yourself, man, those are really shitty and they should have been improved for the PC version. You'll find one of the skimpiest mod outfits you can, then you'll fight the Royal Guard and think to yourself, this looks absolutely absurd that these two women in super skimpy outfits are fighting each other in such a serious manner. And then you'll know, it's awesome. You will occasionally find yourself playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and wonder, why? You'll start skipping through most of the NPC dialogue because it's so damn boring and then wonder why there's a couple second delay between skipping each line. You will slow walk that ass in a variety of different outfits. You know you're gonna do it. You may not admit you're gonna do it, but you're gonna do it. You'll get to the space elevator segment and think to yourself, this is one of the best moments in video games. Ever. You'll love long segments of climbing upwards because it's an endless stream of Eve's ass in your face. You'll build up enough affinity with Lily in order to go to Spire 4 and realize there's an entire optional section of the game and it's actually rather long. You might even glitch out again trying to jump somewhere where you're not supposed to jump. You'll swim around in knockoff Calvin Klein thong underwear. You'll wonder why Adam gets a hover bike but you don't. You'll play around with the mini games that you have to do in order to progress through the story and then realize that they're really kind of pointless and wonder why they're even there. You'll go up ropes and not mind that it takes a while because you get to enjoy the scenery. You'll climb up a ladder with Eve and think to yourself, man, that skybox looks amazing. You'll eventually fight Raven and wonder to yourself, what the fuck is this music? You'll explore the wasteland once again and knock off Calvin Klein underwear that you bought off Alibaba. You'll think to yourself, Adam looks and sounds like he came straight out of a Korean drama.
Yes, what we're doing is really worth it.
You'll enjoy many upskirt shots. The handful of walk and talk segments are far more bearable because you get to watch Eve move around. You'll constantly return to talk to your grandfather whose glaucoma has gotten continuously worse. You'll wander into an alleyway in the urban city and get jumped by a bunch of black merchants. You'll dress Eve up in your favorite Sailor Moon outfit and think to yourself, what am I doing with my life? And as you play, you'll constantly think to yourself, man, I wish I had my own Eve in real life. And then you'll realize that you can, sort of. Just get yourself right. Hit the gym, work out, eat right, clean up your diet, exercise, go outside, jog around, work on your sense of fashion, work on your dating skills, and then get out there in the real world and meet women and date them and get you your own Eve. Remember guys, the only thing holding you back from getting your own real-life Eve is your crippling addiction to weed, anime, and spicy hot Cheetos. And remember, for all you single guys out there, the only thing between you and successfully landing a hot babe like Eve is your constant inability to do so up until now. But why do you think you would be able to? I'll tell you why. Because you're worth it.
Because you're worth it. Because you're worth it.
You'll run around in your skimpies just to see a beautiful body. Whoops, wrong game. Clearly, Stellar Blade should have been Game of the Year for 2024, but it didn't win a single award in any category. You know why not? Because Jeff Keighley is a soy boy beta cuck who tries to appease the woke anti-gamers. Oh, and he was also too busy sucking Hideo Kojima's dick to pay any attention to Stellar Blade. Maybe he'll let Stellar Blade win an award this year for the PC version if we mod in Hideo Kojima in place of Eve. The Earth is now a dystopian wasteland, brought about by the ravages of climate change, acid rain, the depletion of the ozone layer, the extinction of polar bears, rampant illegal immigration, true socialism, and Democrat policies. None of what I just said is true about this game. The only hope for this world to survive is two women, a super sexy half-naked woman, and a hot little cutie of questionable legal age. Ultimately, and unfortunately, I do have some criticisms. This is a game where you, a male, are in control of a woman without her consent. That I just cannot abide by. And the fact that your male gaze continues to lust after Eve's body without her consent means this game should make you feel bad for being a gamer. You should feel bad for being a man, and you should especially feel bad if you're a white male gamer. The worst possible combination of factors known to mankind. Because as we all know, and as Adam Sessler said, the customer base for video games is worse than that of chemical weapons dealers. You are worse than a chemical weapons dealer's customer. Why? Because you may just be a straight white male gamer. And really, guys, is there anything worse than that? Alright, you gooners, let's get to some real review points before we close this one out. Music, really good, though sometimes quite repetitive, especially the lyrical tracks. Sometimes you hear the same singing over and over and over again. Almost drives you crazy, but it's good enough that it doesn't. Sound effects, also awesome, no complaints there. Gameplay, awesome, that's really good as well. Exploration, collectibles, all cool stuff. Bosses and enemy designs, really good. Plenty of variety, for the most part. Though, obviously, you fight a lot of the same enemies, but that's true in most games. Boss design, like I said, really good. You're gonna enjoy almost every single one of them. I think, pretty much every single one of them. Some of them, really hard. Some of them, not as much. Some of them, somewhere between really hard and really, really not that hard. Like, in the middle. How about the controls? Well, they're really good. Except, sometimes there's just so much you can do that you forget what you can do, or you do the wrong thing at the wrong time. But really, whose fault is that? Is that your fault? Yes, it is. We talked a bit about the story, but let's talk about it some more. So, how is it? Well, contrary to what you've heard from some other people, it's alright. It's not the best, certainly not the worst. It's not bad by any means, but it's nothing terribly special. Even the director himself said that they want to do better with the story in their future games. The story here is quite passable. There's enough to keep you interested, especially if you're the type to be interested in video game stories, but not as good as the best. Some legitimate complaints. Well, I gotta tell you guys, there are a few major oversights in Stellar Blade. I'm gonna tell you about them right now. First off, there is no default maid outfit. There's no default cheerleader outfit. There's no default sexy nurse outfit. Those are like 3 key outfits that you'd have to have in a game like this. So, major oversight on the part of the developers. Shift up, you gotta do better. We need a maid, we need a cheerleader, and we need a sexy nurse. Put it in the game as a default. Fortunately, for us PC gamers, we can grab these things from the Nexus mods or any other mod website that has them available. Also, in regards to mods, I have something serious to talk about. Whenever you get on a modding website, particularly Nexus mods, you'll find that there are a ton of mods specifically labeled as FUTA, F-U-T-A. Now, I looked this up online, and apparently FUTA stands for Federal Unemployment Tax Act, though I don't think that has any connection to the FUTA here, because none of those mods seem to have anything to do with the federal government or taxes. Instead, it's people putting male genitalia on Eve. I have one thing to say about that. Stop it. Stop it, you sick fucks. What's wrong with you?
Stop it. Get some help. Stop it. Get some help.
Another complaint I can levy towards the modders, and this is to the modding community in general, but would you guys please stop making really nice mod outfits, but then only have a version with no underwear? Why would you do that? Because I can't use that in YouTube footage. I can't use that in footage that I upload to many different websites because I can't upload nudity. So, if you're gonna make a really nice mod outfit, at least have a version with underwear, please. Thank you. Oh, and to the modder that made the Stellar Summer 25 DOA bikini mod, thank you, man. You're really helping a lot of men with their depression issues.
Oh yeah, baby!
Is there more I would like to say, or could say about Stellar Blade? Abso-fucking-lutely there is. But you know what? This video's already gone on long enough. You guys have heard me talk about all this bullshit for way too long. I can't have this video be 2 or 3 hours, or can I? I could, but I won't. If you guys think I missed anything that was important, if I missed any trigger warnings that you feel I need at the beginning of the video, please list them in the comments section down below. Whoever lists the longest list of trigger warnings that I missed, that kind of rhymed, it's kind of like a Dr. Seuss style rhyme, I will pin your comment down below. I do read all your comments, they mean a lot to me, and your comments and likes help push my video out there into the YouTube algorithm so that more people can discover the joy and the beauty of a game like Stellar Blade, and the joy and beauty of other absolutely stupid, ridiculous reviews that I make. And once again, I'm calling on you, the G3 Brigade, to help support me and what I'm doing here for the Gooner cause. You can always leave a comment, like the video, even maybe share it with friends and family, but probably not your mom. That would get awkward. And despite my many efforts at contacting numerous world governments to try to get support for my brigade, they were met either by complete ignoring of my emails or with a confused declination to support me here in what I'm doing. I thought I was having some luck with the Sudan, but it turned out to be a Sudanese warlord who thought I was offering him money. But don't worry, guys. I do have a possible means of support. A Nigerian prince has apparently passed away, and his attorney is offering to give me all the money that he had. I just need to send a little bit of money so that they can facilitate the exchange. But if you would like to support me more directly, please consider joining the channel and becoming a member, official member of the brigade, or even supporting me on my Patreon. My Patreon members would be listed here now if I had any. I have none. There are zero. It's very lonely over there on Patreon. But if you would like to be the first, the vanguard, so to speak, of my Patreon, then please visit the website linked in the description and become my first official Patreon supporter. Thank you all so much for sticking around for this absurdly stupid review of Stellar Blade. Remember, guys, keep gaming, keep grifting, keep gooning. Stay real, keep playing, and never forget, yesterday's tomorrow is today's today. I will see you all next time.